Howdy and welcome back to the channel. I'm Country Boy, and today we're opening up another Ninja Turtle Universal Monster. Which one? Yes, Master! Yes, Master! The guy that always says yes, Master, or yes, Master Splinter. Leonardo as the Hunchback, or Igor, or whatever variation of the Hunchback you want. I don't know if you would consider Quasimodo as maybe part of this as well. Like maybe it's an amalgam of Quasimodo and Igor, sort of. But either way, it's Leonardo as a Hunchback. And I will say this right now. While Leonardo might be my least favorite Ninja Turtle, I do think they did him a little bit dirty, making him the Hunchback, who is basically just a lackey. He's not even his own monster. Like, at least Michelangelo got to be the mummy, and Raphael got to be Frankenstein's monster. He just gets to be a lackey. You know, he works for Frankenstein, or he works for Dracula, or whoever. So I feel a little bit bad for Leonardo. But that being said, from what I've seen, this is a pretty cool figure regardless. So I guess there's nothing left to do but to get to looking at the packaging. And so here we have the package for Leonardo as the Hunchback Ultimate Action Figure. And this, as I've mentioned in another video before, this is actually some artwork that someone working at NECA does. This isn't the actual figure itself, and it looks phenomenal. I love this artwork. It looks just like the figure, but with a more artistic flair, you could say. So yeah, that's the cover. I love the blue. It really stands out on the figure picture, anyways. And then on the side here, it says the Hunchback on the side, Leonardo as blah blah blah, and then another image. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Universal Monsters. I can't get my words out. NECA, Real Toys. And you can see, this is actually quite a thick box. It's not as thin as all the other ones were. Like, as a comparison, I'll show you. Here's another box that I might have. So I guess here's a little glimpse into the future. This figure is going to be getting opened up pretty soon too. But yeah, you can see it's almost twice as wide as a regular other figure, like the Bride of Frankenstein. Like, that is pretty crazy. So this is going to be a chonky boy, obviously. So that's obviously the one side. I'll show you the other side here. That's the back, and it shows a bunch of the positions you can put the figure in, a bunch of his accessories, and some writings like the Hunchback, Shell Bent on Revenge, whatever that means. And then it also shows you some other figures that are in the line. Like, I've already opened up the Mummy, Michelangelo, and Frankenstein's monster, Raphael. And then obviously I just showed you that April as Bride of Frankenstein is there. And then what are these two right here? I know exactly what they are. That's Donatello as the Invisible Man, and that is Splinter as Van Helsing. So look forward to those when they come at some point. Then I'll show you the top here, which says 14 and up. So make sure you're 14 and up, not some kid playing with these. And then we also have some of the credits of the people involved in the figure. And it also shows me how to properly put in a sword, I guess. Do not put it in this ways, put it in this ways. I guess we'll have to remember that when we actually get to putting the sword in. But like a NECA figure always does, they have these windows. So let's crack this boy open. And look at that. That's what the figure's going to look like. There's a cool image on the side. And then there's the actual figure itself and a few of its accessories you can see. Looking really cool, actually. I'm loving the look of the detail so far. So I guess there's nothing left to do but to get into it and open the packaging. And so here is Leonardo as the Hunchback out of the packaging. Looking big. He's a chonky boy. Definitely chonky. Big, thick boy. So I guess what he lacks in being a cool, special, universal monster, he makes up for with accessories, because he comes with a plethora of accessories. I guess we'll start with this bone here. Here's the bone. He's a grave robber, right? So I guess he's got some bones back in his collection, and it's got some pretty cool detail. It's got a crack there, and it's got, you know, like a darker wash with the white. If that even makes any sense. You know, it's got two different tones going for it. It almost looks like the bone that Luke Skywalker used to put in the Rancor's mouth. It could totally be used as a Star Wars prop if you wanted to. And then I guess we'll go with the skull. Another part of his grave robbing ways, I guess. It looks cool. It's got a dark sunken eyes. Got the teeth in there. Pretty cool detail. It looks like a skull should look. A lot smaller than his head anyways. And then we'll go to his hands. Right now he's got hands that are kind of like just regular relaxed hands, maybe even reaching forward sort of hands. But he also comes with these fists because he's a Ninja Turtle, so he's got to fight. So he's got these fists, and they got like a pretty good detail. Like you can see the nails and the wrinkles in the knuckle. Pretty cool. Other hand he's got these pointing hands, so he can do ET if he wants to. Phone home, you know, or you could say pull my finger. But yeah, he's got these two pointing hands. And then he's also got, obviously he's got some accessories to hold, so he's got these holding hands, which could also be thumbs up hands if he wants to like hitchhike or something. Let's get focused. There we go. So yeah, he's got these holding hands, which you're gonna have with any Ninja Turtle because he's got to hold their weapons. Get out of here! Come on, focus. There we go. There we go. So yeah, there's the holding hands, and then we'll go with what does he use as a tool for grave robbing? Well, he's got some shovels. First is this spade right here, used for puncturing the ground. You know, you got to be sharp and get in there. Boom. It's definitely looks like a worn shovel. It's got some rust to it. Pretty cool detail. Got wraps around the handle. I love it. Love it. And then there's this one here. Good for actually scooping out the dirt. Getting down deep. Got to go 6 feet under it if you want to grab all those dead bodies. And yeah, pretty cool. It's got the handle too. Awesome. Loving it. And then he's also got these swords, obviously. Obviously, he's Leonardo, so he's got to have his swords. Or katanas, to be more specific. Can I even get this all in shot? I got to move it back here. Look at that. They're pretty long. They're pretty big. And they look cool. They look like something that maybe Frankenstein would have made himself with these like spiked ends here. Let's see if we can get like a shot at that. The spiked ends. And there's even like rivets inside there on the hilt. Pretty cool. And this one's identical. So they're the exact same thing. Two of them. It's Leonardo, so obviously he's got to have two. And then these flame effects. If you want to have your swords on fire, so you can chase off Frankenstein's monster, then that's what this is for. You put the... I guess I could probably show you right here. Put that right on there. And boom! You got yourself a flaming sword. Poof! Back away. So that's pretty cool. That's a cool accessory. Make him the dominant one. For once. And then there's this last accessory that I thought was the coolest. That's why I saved it for last. It's a brain in a jar. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be creating monsters with Frankenstein, you got to have a brain. Hopefully, it's not an abnormal brain because that's what he used for Frankenstein's monster. That's why he's so violent. And it opens up like this, and the brain's right there if you want. I think you can take this brain out if you wanted to, I believe. Yes, you can. You can remove the brain. So you can have the brain in his hand if you prefer as well. But I like it in the jar. The jar looks really cool. It's got a bunch of like hoses and gauges and stuff on it. Or I guess maybe there's gauges right there. Pretty cool detail. I like the look of this thing. That is awesome. What a cool accessory. That really puts it over the top. Really well done. And then, obviously, there's the figure itself. So let's take a look at this guy. This meaty boy. So... as you can see, he's got the hunchback because he is a hunchback, clearly. He's got the big old shell at the back. Got to cover up that hunch. He's got this ugly looking face. There's this dopey looking guy like, yes, master. I can't state enough how unfair it is that Leonardo had to be the hunchback. But, I mean, if you think about it, I guess who else would it be? It's got to be Leonardo because he says, yes, Master Splinter. So, yes, Master just makes sense. But I like the detail of everything on here. He's got this cool, like, this burlap looking outfit that he's wearing with the thread going through. You got a bug right there. And this, I honestly thought this was real rope for a second, but it's not. It's not real rope. It just looks like it's really well done. Perfect detail. More bugs on the knee there. And then, obviously, every Ninja Turtle's got to have their knee pads and their elbow pads. So this guy is no different. Got the tattered jeans. And he must have been stitched together, too. Like, maybe he was, like, Frankenstein's first experiment or something. Because he's got some stitches there. He's got some stitches there. So maybe Frankenstein wasn't the first monster he created. or Frankenstein's monster, I should say. But let's show you some articulation. I guess the elbows, I think they're double jointed. You can't really quite tell because of the elbow pad, but it's got good movement. It's not, you know, not gonna be like not gonna be like, what you call it? Oh my goodness, I can't talk here. Like a Spider-Man. I got millions of Spider-Man, and they got double articulation everywhere. But let's look at the hand here. Hand goes back about that far, and then forward about that far. So you can do his Egyptian walk if he wants to, the dance. Obviously, there's not going to be like a thigh cut or a waist swivel because he's just one big, thick, chonky boy. But let's look at his knee. His knee goes back, let's see, about thusly. So yeah, the knee pad kind of gets in the way, but that's about as far back as it goes. And then forward that far. And the feet, you know, he can almost do a ballerina dance right there with that foot there. And then forward about that far. And then they go sideways pretty good. He does a pretty good half splits, I'll say. So yeah, that's decent articulation there. And the head is very limited here, I'll say. Down, it goes quite well. Up, that's all you're going to get. You can't look up very well. He's got to turn his head sideways if he wants to look up like that. That's how he turns his head. He can go sideways a little bit. He can go sideways a little bit that ways too. But yeah, that's the articulation that he's got. It's very limited because just the way this guy looks, he's going to have limited articulation. But let's look at the back of the shell here. Like, look at the cracks going all over the place. He's got, obviously, some hinges, like some screws and stuff. Pretty cool. Awesome, like patchwork here with these pieces of metal. And then he's got this big lock on here. It's like, oh, what the hell is this lock for? Well, because if you've ever played with the old school Playmates shell storage, I think that's what they're called, the shell storage Ninja Turtles, they opened up and they could hold a whole bunch of accessories inside. So that's what this Ninja Turtle does. He holds a whole bunch of stuff in here. I can put probably the skull in here and the brain and the bone and all that stuff. I'll put that stuff in here and I'll show you what it all looks like in a little bit, just so you can see for yourself. But that, I thought was really cool. How he has all these accessories, and I don't think all of them are going to fit in here, but at least a few of them should. So that'll be cool. So I guess stay tuned for that when I show you what he can fit inside. All right, so I've got some accessories inside his shell. And if I thought he was a hefty boy before, well, I tell you right now, he's even heftier now. I'll show you what we got. As you can see, poking out of the back of the shell, I've got his swords. They got actual slots for his sword to go through. I thought that was really cool. It goes in there, it comes out there, and vice versa, the other way. That looks really cool. I like the way that looks. And then open them up, and I'll show you what we got inside. There we go. We got the skull right there, and we got the brain right there. They actually had little slots for them to fit in there, which is perfect because that way they won't rattle around when you have them in there. And then on the other side, you can see that the swords themselves are actually holding in the other accessories, which are the two shovels and the bone right there. And one thing I forgot to mention was this little guy back here. You can't really see right now because you got the sword in the way. But look, there's a spider right there. That creepy little guy. Just hanging out in Leonardo's shell. What's he gonna do? You creepy bugger. Anywho, that is the shell and how it stores everything. I think that's a really cool idea. I kind of wish more figures would do this, because then I wouldn't have to put all their accessories back inside their boxes. This is really cool. More like this, NECA. You're doing a really cool job. Quite a feat of engineering. So I guess next up, I'll just kind of compare him to some other figures that I have in the line, and then we'll go from there. Stay tuned. So I thought for the comparison, I got to give him his flame swords at least, which actually do look pretty cool. I'll admit, that looks pretty sweet. I do like the flame effects on these swords. But who are we going to be comparing him with? Who we opened already before on the channel. We got Frankenstein's monster, Raphael himself. I think he looks really cool. They look really cool together. And obviously he's still taller than this guy. But I mean, not by a huge margin or anything like that. Like I said, he's a big dude. This guy is slightly taller, but he also has the platform shoes too, so that also makes him that much bigger. And you know, Raphael didn't come with that many accessories as well. Like this guy came with a crap ton of accessories, but I still think this figure is way better. He's Raphael. He's just cooler, and he's Frankenstein's monster, so he gets that edge as well. But that's unfair. That's just my personal preference. Who else do I have? Well, I also have this guy that I opened up on the channel too, which would be Michelangelo as the Mummy. And again, I think that these guys all work really well together. They look really cool. The coloring of them, the muted colors, the dirtiness, everything works really well. They all have the cool different variations of their weapons. And yeah, they're universal monsters. They really stand out. They look really cool. I'm so happy to have them in my collection. And I definitely am going to try and collect the whole wave. At least so far, I'm trying to collect everything. But let me know if you like this. If you want to see more videos like this, my name is CountryBoy9 with an underscore in there somewheres. Go ahead and give it a like, give it a subscribe. Go ahead and write some comments. Tell me what you thought about these figures. What's your favorite figure? If you like what I do here, go ahead and check out my other channel where I'm with my friends. We just talk random stuff. We're called Wasted Opinions. We're also on YouTube. And yeah, like I said, we just talk random stuff about movies, TV shows, video games, what have you. We even have an episode where we talk about Ninja Turtles, so maybe you'll like that. For now, I am Country Boy, and I am going to be opening up another figure pretty soon. I think you already know which one it is, because you probably saw earlier in the video when I teased it. But until then, stay green.